The entire class today is going to be on our mat. And I like to have, I guess I could share the name of this blanket. I got it on Amazon, Kakaos, and it's all cotton, tightly wove, and it's really good for absorbing sweat if you sweat while you're on your mat. So come to a seated cross-legged position on the mat this morning. And if you're interested in starting to work on Lotus, you can go ahead and put your feet up onto the thigh. I'm still working on this, getting this a little bit tighter, working through some knee issues. And you can also place the other foot up, just depending on your hip flexibility, your knees, your ankles, wherever you're at. But I think I'll start in a half lotus with one leg up. And Sally, I noticed that you joined and we're happy to have you today too. I was just mentioning that we're going to be doing a lot of deep stretching today. So to begin with, let's close our eyes and start to breathe deeply through the nose. Paying attention to what your body is currently feeling, what your body is currently experiencing, what you're bringing to the mat. You can place your hands on your knees if you like that. I like to kind of rest my wrists on my knees.
Okay, do yoga.
Taking deep breaths. Extending tall through the spine. Trying to lift your shoulders up, lift the crown of your head up. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling slowly. Trying to extend the exhale to be twice as long as the inhale. That's something that you can work toward. Takes a little bit of thinking and a little bit of practice. Soften the muscles in the face and the jaw. And we'll start to work a little bit on spinal breathing, inhaling at the base of the spine, all the way up the spine and out the crown of the head, exhaling from the crown of the head down through the base of the spine. And just keep that breath coming up and going down. And I like to imagine on the inhale that I'm pulling energy from the earth up into my body. And on the exhale that I'm pushing that energy through my body to every space in my body, from my fingertips, my toes, the entire form of my body. Starting to pay attention possibly to getting a little more oxygen in the brain. You might feel a little lightheaded. And this deep breathing, slow breathing brings in a sense of calm and relaxation. Helps you become a little more present. And as we're beginning this class, maybe you want to consider creating an intention for your class, how you want to show up. Maybe you're feeling a little anxious, tense, tired. Consider how you want to show up. And maybe today, as we work on some of these real deep stretches, you might want to offer yourself a little bit of compassion for where your body currently is. And know that this is a journey. Okay, let's complete one more final deep breath, inhaling from the base of the spine all the way up, out the crown of the head, and exhaling all the way down, and then soften your body completely. Every part of your body soft, relaxed, and comfortable. We'll stay here in the seated cross-legged position. So if you'd like to switch around your knees or put them in an opposite position, you're welcome to do that. And we'll work from our head to our toes on stretching. So let's begin with our neck, and we'll drop our left ear to the left shoulder. And it seems like we're doing a lot of this lately, and it's probably because I really have some tightness in my neck and shoulders I'm working through. And drop our right ear to the right shoulder. Checking in to make sure that your breaths are deep and full. Fill the entire chest cavity. Left ear, left shoulder. Right ear, right shoulder. This time we'll gaze beyond the left shoulder, pushing the chin behind the shoulder as far as you possibly can. And if it helps you, imagine drawing space from your right ear to your left or your right shoulder, really stretching that out, twisting into the left side of the neck, keeping this neck and all the vertebrae loose and lubricated with movement. And exhale, inhale, twist to the right. Same thing, pushing the chin beyond the right shoulder. You might feel more stretch as you're inhaling deeply, expanding the chest cavity. And release. And this time we'll take our chin straight up. Drop the back of our head to the back of our neck. Pulling the chin up. And then reversing it, tucking the chin all the way to the chest. And as you're tucking your chin to your chest, pull your shoulders away from your ears. Push the ears up, forward, pull the shoulders down, dip the chin a little bit closer to the chest. Feeling the stretch in the back that you can create here. Now we'll take our chin to our left clavicle. See if you can touch your chin to your clavicle, pulling the shoulders away. And chin to right clavicle. It's amazing to me how much tension accumulates in my neck and shoulders. And then we'll do one complete rotation with our chin clockwise. And one complete rotation counterclockwise. Making sure that you're pushing the chin to the farthest extent of your flexibility. Remembering to breathe as we move. And then returning our face to neutral. And if you need to put some movement into your knees because we've stayed here in this cross-legged position, especially if you're working towards Lotus, stretch those out because we'll keep them crossed for a little bit longer as we continue to work into the shoulders. Okay, hands back on the wrist, our shoulders come up. See if we can touch our ears with our shoulders. And then reverse it, pressing the shoulders down while you're pulling the neck and the ears up. Shrug the shoulders up. And drop the shoulders low. This next time we'll start a clockwise rotation with our shoulders, pushing them forward and up, all the way to our ears, reversing or returning them to the back. And when they're in the back, you can squeeze your shoulder blades together, lower them all the way down, pull your ears from your shoulders, and continue this clockwise rotation, finding the farthest reach that your shoulder can make. Coordinating the breath, you can inhale as you bring the shoulders up, exhale as you bring the shoulders down. And we'll reverse it, opposite direction. Exhale, bringing the shoulders down, inhaling as we bring them up. Nice big circles. See how big of a circle you can draw with your shoulders. Okay, continue to stretch into the arm and the shoulder. Take your right arm across your chest, grab the elbow with the left hand and push the elbow closer to your left shoulder. So we're pushing our right elbow close to our left shoulder. You can reach the arm out, straightening this arm. You should feel a nice stretch in the back of the shoulder and the top of the arm. This time we'll take the right elbow and come over the head, reach with the left, and press the right elbow a little bit farther behind the head, really opening into the right shoulder joint. Deep breaths will help with the stretch. And release it. You can shake it out a little. This time our left arm comes across. Trying to push the left elbow close to the right shoulder. You can straighten that arm out, create a little different stretch. Remembering to breathe. And then take the left elbow over the head, reach with the right hand, and bring the elbow a little bit farther behind the head. Stretching deep into the shoulder joints. Okay, let's release it. Lace the fingers together in front of us. Press the palms to the wall in front and dip your chin close to your chest. Create space between both shoulder blades as you press palms forward. And then dip your chin a little bit farther. Remembering to breathe. And then lace our fingers behind our back in a fist, and we'll press our fist to the wall behind us, opening into the chest. So while we're opening into the chest, lift your spine nice and tall. You can bring your chin up. And then we'll come forward with our hands laced behind us. Lifting the arms up. Deep breathing. And we release it. Shake the arms out. And then we'll try and put lotion on our back, finding that spot on our back that's really hard to reach. So I'll turn opposite of the screen so you can see the back. Taking the right elbow, and we're going to press our right hand as far down the spine as we can. And then we'll reach from behind with the left and try and touch our fingertips together. And the shoulders are one of the areas as we age that really tighten up and really have problems because we don't get them moving enough. We don't create mobility in the shoulders and they become tight. And then when you do something you don't usually do, it's when you end up tearing muscles, ligaments. Okay, same thing, opposite side. This time the left elbow comes up and the palm slides down the back of the neck. And we reach from behind with the right fingertips, trying to touch fingertips together. See if your posture is tall, your chest should be open. Breathing deeply. One more breath here, and then we'll release. Take our palms to the walls behind, to the side of us, and see if you can press the walls farther apart. And then grab a fist and pull the shoulder blades together, really strengthening into the shoulder blades here, imagining that you're holding a pencil between your shoulder blades, building some strength, opening into the chest. Okay, reverse it, pressing the palms to the walls to each side, breathing deeply. And then we'll grab a fist and pull the shoulder blades in together. You should feel some strengthening happening here and some opening into the chest. And release. And you can shake the arms out. And we'll come to a table pose for some cat-cow work, stretching farther into the back. Our wrists directly below our shoulders, knees below the hips. And then we'll move our chest up, creating space between our shoulder blades and pressing our chest in between our arms. Release, pulling the chest up. With an inhale or an exhale, I'm sorry, and then opening up to an exhale, bringing our arms forward, continuing to stretch into the back. Reaching the fingertips to the wall in front of you, pushing your behind to the wall behind you. And then continue to drop your behind to the space between your heels. And bring the forehead to the mat. Okay, let's release it, come back up onto our knees, and we'll bring our right leg straight in front of us with our heel to the mat. And we'll work a little bit on balance here, seeing how nice and tall you can create your spine and how steady and still your body can be, flexing the heel. And then we'll bring a flat spine forward, keeping our right leg as straight as we can get it, taking our hands to the mat. So what I'm doing here is I'm pushing my right heel forward and pulling my right hip back, pressing my right knee to the mat. I can come a little bit farther. And if your flexibility isn't here, you might have a slight bend in your leg, or if you have blocks, you can hold on to the blocks here so that you're not having to come as far down into the pose. Okay, let's pull that hip back a little bit farther. Flex the heel a little bit tighter. And then we'll come back up. A little bit of balance here. And bring the right leg, the right knee to the mat, pulling the left leg forward. We'll work on the same thing. Trying to lengthen the spine, chest is open, finding steadiness and balance here. Flex the left heel. And then with the flat spine, coming forward, hands to the mat. So if you need to bend that left leg, you're welcome to bend the left leg to get your hands to the mat. And when you're there, let's push the left heel forward, pull the left hip back, stretching deep into the hamstring. Press the left knee to the mat. Remembering your breath. The goal is to keep the breath deep, long, and steady throughout the entire practice. And it's easy to forget to breathe when we're in some of our poses. Okay, let's release it. And then we'll come back to our knees, We'll work a little bit on camel and bring an opposite stretch into the back. So our spine is nice and tall. We're squeezing our glutes, pushing them forward, pressing the front of the hips forward. So you can reach back there and feel tension in your butt cheeks, nice tight muscles. Growing our spine nice and tall, the chest is open, lifting the palms up, and we'll slide the palms down into our back pockets, pressing the palm into the back pocket, pushing the hips forward, really tighten your glutes, tuck your navel into your spine, tight, lifting the chin. And then release, reaching forward with an extended puppy, lift your hips to the sky, reaching forward. And we'll come back into a camel one more time, and you're welcome to come into full camel, which has your hands coming down to your heels. Never reach back one at a time. You always want to support yourself, keeping the spine straight, reaching back with both hands. So if you can do it with both hands, then reach back to grab your heels. Otherwise, just slide your hands into your back pockets. Extend the spine nice and tall. Lift the hands up. Bring them to the back, press them down the back pockets, press into the back pockets. And if you're interested, you can continue lowering, bringing your hands to your heels, pushing the chest up, lifting the chin, completely opening the chest. Squeeze shoulder blades together. And release. Coming straight forward. Then you can come back into one more extended puppy. And let's bring our right knee in front of us and our left knee behind us. So we want to bring our right foot in front of our left hip. We'll work on loosening into the hips here for a moment. Trying to keep both hips parallel to the mat. You'll notice your right hip wants to lift. Press the right hip down. Finding deep breaths. And if you'd like to continue, you're welcome to reach your arms out in front and lie your chest over your knee. Forehead to the mat, reaching forward. And we're in a full pigeon pose. Again, try and press that right hip low to the mat. Slow, steady breathing. One more breath here. Press the right hip lower. And bringing the hands up. Coming back up here. And opposite side. So bring the left knee directly in front of your chest. The left foot in front of the right hip. And then slide the right leg down. Finding good stretching into the hips here. Wanting to keep that right hip from lifting, keeping the left hip from lifting, trying to keep both hips parallel to the mat. Deep breaths here. And then reach forward if you're interested, or you can stay in a tall pigeon pose. Lie your chest directly over your knees, reaching forward. Keep both hips parallel to the floor, pressing them down. Remembering the breath. And we'll release and come back up. And this time, both of our knees separate. And you can find the separation that's comfortable for you. It just depends on where your hip flexibility is at this moment. So you can bring the knees apart And then the feet come out to both sides. And you might find yourself coming into this a little bit farther. Keep your weight on your hands here as you find that comfortable spot, lowering the hips. Being patient with your body. We don't work on this very often. Never working to pain. You can work to discomfort, never to pain. And then you can take your forearms to the mat if you're interested. And tuck the chin into the chest. Should feel a nice stretch in the top of your back between your shoulder blades here. Stretching out the hips. Hips are also an area that we get a lot of tension in, and you'll notice that we do a lot of shoulder surgeries as we get older, a lot of hip surgeries as we get older, and a lot of knee surgeries as we get older. Keeping these joints strong and flexible will really prevent that. Okay, come back up. And then roll back onto your feet. And we'll come into a squat here. Lowering the hips to the mat. Bringing our chest into the space between our knees. And you can rest here. I like to grab opposite elbow with opposite hand. And then let gravity keep me a little bit deeper into the pose. Again, tucking chin to chest. Breathing deeply. And if you're interested, we could work on a crow pose, or you can continue to stay in this squat, or you can lift and lower your legs. A lot of times keeping our knees bent really starts to build tension. So if you want to just release some tension there, you can lift and lower. Otherwise, I'm going to work into a crow pose. So my palms are to the mat. I'm tucking the back of my elbows or the back of my arm into my shin, and then pressing my palms into the mat as I lift my heels. And then lift up onto tiptoes. And this may be the extent of the pose for you. If you're interested, you can go ahead and lift the feet off the mat. Oh, today's a tough day to do this for me. And then come back down. And lift and lower the hips, release some tension here. And we can try one more crow pose. So you're welcome to stop at any point along the way. Press the palms into the mat, lower your body in between your knees. Press your shins to the backs of your upper arm, coming up onto tiptoes. Finding balance. Pressing the palm into the mat, up to tiptoes. And you can lift one leg, or you can work on lifting both. And release. Coming back to cat-cow. And then returning to a seated position with our legs straight on the mat. Work a little bit on core strength here for just a moment. And also, I think this is a great one to work on posture so that we can remember what good posture feels like. We're rooting our sitting bones to the mat. So those two bones right at the very bottom of your butt cheeks, want them squarely rooted into the mat. And if you need to, you can move side to side and move some of the flesh out. Straightening the legs as much as possible. Flexing into the heel. And I've got to find my timer here. And we'll stay into this staff pose for 2 minutes. And you can make this as intense as you want. We'll go through each part of the body that needs to come into play as we do staff pose. Starting with the heels are flexed, legs are straight, pressing the backs of the knees into the mat, pulling the kneecaps into the thigh. Some real strengthening going on there. Our hands are resting slightly, gently to the sides of our hips. Our pelvic floor is lifting up like an elevator. So we're pulling up into the core with the pelvic floor, and the navel tucks in to the spine. You should feel real tightness all along your abdominal walls here. The spine is nice and tall. Imagine growing yourself another ½ inch or an inch just in the height of the spine. Face is neutral. And let that breath come in from the base of the spine, all the way up out the crown of the head, and then back down. See if you're noticing tension in your body that shouldn't be there, especially in the face. The face is soft, the jaw is relaxed, the brow is loose, and the breath is long and steady. Okay, we'll go back through the body parts that need to come into play here. A soft, neutral face, slight tension between our shoulder blades to open our chest, lifting our spine an extra inch, tucking the navel in to the spine, lifting the pelvic floor up into the core. Hands are resting gently to our sides. Back of the knee pressed into the mat, kneecap pulled into the thigh, and our heels are flexed. And release and soften. Shake the legs out a little bit. We'll come into a forward fold, and I'd like to hold the forward fold for 2 minutes, 2 times. So listen to your body if you need to come out of the forward fold, because this is a lot of stretching, especially for new yoga students. So listen to your body, do what your body is allowing you to do, but mostly be patient. So nice tall spine, flat spine, and we want to hinge forward with our back flat. We don't want to bend our back as we come forward. So inhaling as we reach up, reaching up, and then flat spine, hinging from the hips, reaching forward with our heels flexed, our legs as straight as we can get them. And when you're ready, you can support yourself with your hands to the mat, your hands to the leg, or you can reach a little bit farther. So imagine lowering your chest to your knees, working towards getting your elbows to the mat. And this may seem impossible to do, but your goal here is to find softness and relaxation in this point of tension. And the reason we do this is it's the same mental work that it takes for you to be relaxed and at ease in this point of tension in the stretch as it is for you to be at ease and relaxed in points of tension in your daily life. For example, if you're in a line at a store and the clerk is very slow, or somebody cuts you off in traffic, or there's family's tension or stress, going back to the same feeling, working on softening into the tension and becoming relaxed in the tension. And again, if you need to release out of this and come back into it, you're welcome to do that. And another thing that's really helpful in this is imagine yourself coming into the fold 1 millimeter with each exhale. The exhale allows you to soften and allows your body to become more relaxed, which allows you to come into the fold a little bit further. Again, working on finding that softness and the ease. Not letting your mind wander, to notice thoughts coming in about what you've got to do or what you're dealing with, or
external worries. Turn within, really pay attention to your body, and focus on the breath. Long, steady inhales, long, steady exhales. Lowering a little bit further each time. Okay, release out of the pose. Inhaling as you come up. If you need to, you can move from side to side a little bit. Put some movement into the legs. And we'll come back into the forward fold for 2 more minutes. And imagine yourself coming in farther with a more relaxed, gentle body. And hopefully you'll notice a difference on this second time coming into the forward fold. So we'll inhale as we reach up, flexing from the hip. Our spine is flat, tall, straight, reaching forward with the breath, always moving with the breath. Coming back into our forward fold. Don't allow your mind to wander. Return to the breath if you need to count the breath. A lot of times I'll count my inhale and see how long it takes me to inhale a full breath, and count the exhale to see how long it takes to exhale a full breath. And then I have a good idea at making the exhale longer than the inhale. If you're interested, you can tuck your chin closer to your chest and notice how that completely changes the stretch. Finding relaxation, see if there's tension building in your hips and your legs and your face. Use the breath to soften and relax the body. We're about there. See if you can exhale a little bit farther. Tuck the chin a little bit deeper. Straighten the legs a little more. And we'll release out of the forward fold. Okay, sliding down to our back. Pull the knees into the chest. We can do a knee press here. And chin comes up to the knees. And let's place the soles of our feet together, opening into the hips, finding some softness and relaxation here. You can pull the heels in a little bit closer to your body and press the knees down a little bit more. Okay, we'll straighten our legs and we'll work on a little more into the hip. So let's bring our knee up and bring our left knee up, place our right foot on the left thigh. And depending on your flexibility, you may want to just keep that left foot to the mat, and this may be the extent of your stretch. If you're interested, you can reach in through this space that we've created with our right leg, reach to the front of our left shin, lying our back flat to the mat, pulling our left leg closer to our chest. Again, getting deep into this right hip joint. Face muscles are soft, body is relaxed. Pull it in a little tighter. And then we can release it. Same thing, opposite leg. Left foot comes on the top of the right thigh. And bring the right shin a little bit closer. Reach the left arm in through the space that we've created with the left leg, reaching to the front of our right shin. Not explaining this very well. It's a little bit complicated. So our left foot is on top of the right thigh. Our left arm is reaching through the space we've created with our left leg to the front of the right shin. We've got our right and left hand clasped together on the right shin. This is thread the needle, and you can figure out easily why we call this thread the needle. Deep breaths. Okay, and let's release it here. I like to work on some spinal openers, relaxing and stretching into the spine. Our arms come straight out to the side, straight out from our shoulders in a T shape. Cross the right ankle over the left ankle, and we'll lift our right hip and twist toward the left side. So let's inhale, and on the exhale, we'll twist. Inhale, twist our right hip to the left side and gaze over the right fingertips. So our right leg crossed over the left leg, twisting our right hip to the left side, pressing the right hand to the mat, gazing over the right hand, and release it. And we'll do it one more time. So twist to the left, inhale and twist, gaze to the right. So we'll twist the opposite direction of our gaze on these spinal openers and release. Same thing, opposite side. Left ankle comes over right ankle, twisting the left hip to the right and gazing over the left hand. You'll notice your left shoulder wants to lift off the mat, press it into the mat, keep it low, and release. One more twist, twist to the right, gaze to the left, and release. Okay, this time our right heel goes on top of our left toes. And we'll twist our right foot and our right hip to the left. So twist them to the left, gazing to the right. And release. Keep it the same, right heel on top of left toes, twisting to the left, gazing to the right. And release. Same thing, opposite side. Left heel comes on top of right toes. We'll twist toward the right, gaze to the left. So inhale and twist to the right and gaze to the left. Noticing that left shoulder wants to lift and pressing the left shoulder right back into the mat. And release. Same thing, twist to the right, gaze to the left. And release. Okay, we'll continue on with our spinal openers. This time our right foot attaches to the inside of our left knee as if they're Velcroed together. And we'll twist the right knee to the left side. And we'll gaze to the right side. So we're gazing right over our right fingertips. Our right knee is twisted to the left side. And check to see if your left toes are pointed. I'm going to keep our left leg engaged here. And our right shoulder, press it into the mat. Release. One more time, keeping this foot Velcroed to the inside of our left knee. Inhale, twist left, gaze right, left toes pointed. And release. Same thing, opposite side. Left foot attaches to the inside of the right knee. Inhale, twist our left knee to the right, gaze over the left. Press the left shoulder into the mat. You'll notice it wanting to creep up and lift. And release. Inhale, twist to the left, same thing. Or twisting to the right, sorry. Twisting to the right, pressing the left shoulder to the mat, the left palm to the mat, gazing over the left palm. And release. Okay, this time our right foot crosses over the left knee. And we'll twist to the left and allow your foot to slide out from under the knee a little bit. We'll find a little deeper twist. Pressing the left knee or the right knee down, gazing over the right fingertips, pressing the right shoulder into the mat. And release. And we'll do one more, twisting to the left, gazing to the right. Twist to the left, gaze to the right. And release. This time left foot crosses over the right knee and we'll twist to the right, gaze to the left. Inhale, twist to the right, gaze to the left. Check that left elbow or the left shoulder and see if it's lifting up and you want to press it right back into the mat. If you'd like to, you can reach down and press the knee a little closer to the mat. Release. One more time, twist to the right, gaze to the left. Keeping good mobility into our spine here. And release. And then square yourself up again. Make sure that your hips are flat to the mat. Arms straight out from the shoulders, and our straight right leg raises up to the ceiling. This takes me a little bit of work. It causes some tension in my back. Straighten the right leg, flex the right heel, and we'll cross the straight right leg to the left. And gaze to the right. I can tell I haven't done these for a while. And release, bring that right leg straight up to the ceiling. Square your body up one more time, keep it straight. We'll cross it over one more time. Inhale, twist to the left, gaze to the right. And if you're able to, you can reach down and grab the left or the right toes. Pull them up a little bit higher. Keep the left leg engaged. Don't let that left leg go too relaxed. You want to keep it engaged. We're gazing over the right fingertips here. And release. And we'll lower the left leg to the mat. We should take about 1 minute to lower it. So as slow as you can go, keeping as much strength into this leg as possible. Lowering it to the floor, trying to engage the core. So again, we're lifting the pelvic floor up into the core, tucking the navel into the spine, pulling the right kneecap up toward the right thigh. Right leg as straight as we can get it. Flexing the right heel. Trying to find softness in our fingertips, in our face, our jaw. Remembering the breath, keeping it steady. Deeply inhaling, deeply exhaling. Another good breath here. You can release it, relax the body here for 1 moment, and we'll bring the left leg straight up. Bring the left leg up, flexing the heel, straightening the left leg. Inhale, we'll twist the left leg to the right side. and we'll gaze to the left. So our right leg is straight, engaged. If you'd like to, you can reach down to these toes and pick them up, pull them up a little bit higher. Trying to keep both legs as straight as you can. Both shoulders pressed into the mat. And we'll release it and lift the left leg up one more time. Got a little cramp going on in my leg. Okay, left leg to the right one more time. And we're gazing over the left fingertips. So our left leg, twist to the right, gazing over our left fingertips. Trying to straighten the left leg as much as possible and keeping the right leg as straight and engaged as possible. And release, back up, and then we'll take 1 minute to lower it to the mat. Release and lower. So keep that right leg engaged. You can flex the right heel to keep it a little bit straighter. Keep the left leg straight, that left kneecap pulled toward the left thigh. Left ankle flexed. Finding softness in your face. Check to make sure your brow is not furrowed. Tuck the navel into the spine. Hold the pelvic floor up. Long, deep breathing. Okay, once your left foot is to the mat, you can allow your feet to fall out to the side. Bring your palms up to the side of the body, resting in Shavasana for just a moment. And we'll do a few inversions. So bring your knees to your chest. This might release a little bit of tightness you may have developed into the spine, and roll it from side to side, using the mat to massage your body. And then our legs are straight up. And this may be your inversion for today. We'll do a few steps farther with this, but you can always return to a basic waterfall pose, keeping your legs engaged, palms to the side of your body, trying to get the legs up as high as you can get them. So that's stage one. If you'd like to, you can work on lifting the hips up and coming a little bit farther. Oh, my back is not happy today. Lifting the hips a little bit farther into the inversion. Resting onto the elbows. So I've created a little saddle here with my hands. I'm going to bring my elbows in a little bit closer together, and I'm resting my hips right into my hands. And inversions are really good. If you have restless leg issues that you deal with, doing inversions at night, and you can just rest with your feet up a wall, it really helps with restless leg. But this allows the blood flow to have to switch a little bit, changes a little bit of that, and you might feel a different sensation in your head as you're doing an inversion. And finding as much relaxation as possible. Again, you may still be in basic waterfall pose, and if you need to release out of that at any time, you can release out of that. I am going to continue on bringing my legs over my head a little bit farther. And then bring my arms up to meet my hands, or to meet my feet as they come over my head. And we haven't done this for a long time as well, and I could feel that we need to work on this a little bit more. So this is exactly like our forward fold that we do, except gravity is working differently on our body. So if you can imagine the forward fold that we do when we're sitting, same exact thing. Except this time gravity is working on our lower half, bringing it up to our chest and head. And you can be back in waterfall, find what's working for you. And if you're interested, you can bring your knees to the side of your head, wrap your arms around, pull the knees in a little bit farther. You might find real comfort and relaxation in this pose. Softening the body. And then let's roll down out of it. And we'll find happy baby here on our back. So if you've been in waterfall, then just bend your legs, bring them a little bit farther, and you can bring your hands to the outside of your feet and pull your knees closer to the mat. And you can roll from side to side, getting some flexibility here, and mostly allowing the mat to massage into the muscles on your back and your body. Okay, let's release it. We'll come back into a waterfall pose. Our hands are to the sides of our hips. Legs are straight, heels are flexed. And for our last bit of work here, we're going to lower our legs, and we'll try and take about 2 minutes to lower our legs. So if you need to lower them and come back up and lower them, or just lower them and relax, you're welcome to do that. Keeping my legs straight, engaging my core, always engaging the core. Straight legs, lowering them slowly. Trying to find softness in the muscles in my face. A lot of work to hold the strength in your core. Remember to breathe deeply here, bringing oxygen into the body, into the muscles. Helps to strengthen, helps the muscles to do their work. Long breaths. I notice in this work here, I sigh through my nose on my exhale, making a little bit of sound when I do it. We've got about 15 seconds left. Let me make this last little bit count. Nice work. Okay, the last few minutes of our practice today is always the reward. We'll do some relaxation work. So lying on your back, we'll rest in Shavasana for a moment. And then we'll do a little bit of meditation with finger breathing to wrap up the practice. I just want to remind you of our finger breathing so you can use that day to day, or you can teach it to kids or grandkids or students. Imagine yourself inhaling all of the energy from the earth into your body and exhaling to push that energy to the farthest reaches of your body, your toes, your fingers, the top of your head. And with each breath, allow yourself to sink farther and more deeply into the mat, allowing the earth to completely support you. Each muscle, ligament, tendon should be relaxed. Eyes are closed. Lengthening the inhale, lengthening the exhale. Slowing down the body, slowing the breath. Now name major parts of the body to relax. The head, allow it to soften. Lie heavily on the mat. The neck, shoulders, arms, all lying heavy, softly, completely relaxed on the mat. Your back, your chest, belly, your hips and glutes, resting softly on the mat. Legs, ankles, and feet. The entire form of your body resting heavily on the mat. Deep breathing. And with the next deep inhale, begin to bring small movements back into your fingers and toes, your wrists, and your ankles, your arms and your legs. You can reach the arms over the head, stretch them, pressing the heels to the walls in front of you, maybe rolling from side to side. And when you're ready, roll to the side in a fetal pose. And then continue lifting yourself back up to a cross-legged position. And we'll work through finger breathing just a little bit so that I can remind you. And this is a good way to settle tension and stress. So we'll take our thumb and we'll begin at the base of each finger. We'll inhale up the finger, press on the finger, exhale from the finger down to the base of the finger. So it looks like this. Press your thumb to the base of your index finger, inhale up, press the fingertip, exhale down, coming to the middle finger. Inhale up, press the tip of the finger, exhale down. And what this does is it requires your brain to change its focus. So if you're in a point of stress or tension, anxiety, you can always return to the breath. And this is just a physical way of returning to that breath. So our ring finger will inhale up, press the tip of the finger, exhale down, ring finger, inhale up, exhale down. Okay, same thing, left hand. Take the thumb to the base of the index finger, inhale up, press the fingertip, exhale down. Base of the middle finger, inhale up, press the tip of the finger, exhale down.
Inhale up. Exhale down. Pinky finger, inhale up. Exhale down. Okay, we'll try that one more time on each of our hands. So our right hand, in fact, let's do our right and left together. So inhale at the base of the pinky finger, inhale up. Press, exhale down. Ring finger, inhale up. Press, exhale down. Inhale up. Press, exhale down. Last finger, inhale up. Press, exhale down. Okay. You can bring your hands back to heart center to end our practice today. Thank you so much for joining me. We've got a rainy Tennessee day, but I'm so happy to have you with me. My wish for you today is complete ease, relaxation, and bliss. Namaste. Thanks for joining. See you on Tuesday. So have a good Sunday.